slowly note.
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
गोपाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
नंदलाला हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
मोर मुकुट सर गल बनमाला केसर तिलक लगाए।
केसर तिलक लगाए।
मोर मुकुट सर गल बनमाला केसर तिलक लगाए।
केसर तिलक लगाए।
वृंदावन में कुंज गलन में सबको नाचन चाहिए। ओ सबको रास नचाए। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला।
जय नंदलाला जय गोपाला।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है। गिरधर नागर कही दे मेरा सूर को श्यामल भाया।
सूर को श्यामल भाया।
गिरधर नागर कही दे मेरा सूर को श्यामल भाया।
सूर को श्यामल भाया।
तुकाराम और नामदेव ने विठ्ठल विठ्ठल गाया। ओ विठ्ठल विठ्ठल गाया। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम है।
शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पाए।
श्यामल दर्शन पाए।
राधा शक्ति बिना न कोई श्यामल दर्शन पाए।
श्यामल दर्शन पाए।
आराधन कर राधे राधे कान्हा भागे आए। ओ कान्हा भागे आए। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम ले। श्री राधे गोविंदा मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम ले। मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम ले। मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम ले। मन भजले हरि का प्यारा नाम ले।
सभी लोग अपने स्थान पे खड़े हो जाएं। ओम हरि ओम स्वस्ति न इंद्रो बृहस्पतिर्वाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु त्रिखदस्वामरुतः वृष्टिमातरः सोऽहं जावानो विदधे खुजगमय्यः अग्निर्जिह्वा मनवः सूरचक्षसो विश्वेनो देव अवसागमन्निः भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देव भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्जयत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गे तुष्टवागुंसस्तनो विरिवसेमहि देवहितं यदायुः शतमिन्दुशरदो हन्ति देव यत्रा नश्यकरा जरशं तनूनाम् उत्तरासो यत्र पितरो भवन्ति मानो मध्यारीरेखत युर्गन्तोः ॐ द्योः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षागुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिः ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः क्षमा शान्तिरेधिः। ॐ श्री गुरुदेवताभ्यो नमो नमः। ॐ सहस्रशीरिखा पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपातसभूमिगुं सर्वतस्पृतवात्यतिष्ठदशाङ्गुलम् पुरुषाय वेदगुं सर्वं जदभूतं जच्च भाव्यम् उतामृतत्वश्ये सानो जदन्येनातिरोहति। पाद्युर्पाद्यं समर्पयामि गन्धं श्रीखण्डचन्दनं दिव्यं गन्धाढ्यं सुमनोहरं विलेपनं सुरश्रेष्ठा चन्दनं प्रतिगृह्यताम्। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मण्यदेवाय गोब्रह्मणहिताय च जगद्धिताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ पुष्पं पुष्पं मालिकां समर्पयामि। ॐ अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। पुष्पमालिकां समर्पयामि दीपं चन्द्रमा मनसो जातचक्षोः सूर्यो जायतः श्रोत्वाद्वायुष्य प्राणस्य मुखादग्निरजायतः साञ्जं च वर्तिसंयुक्तं बहिनं योजितं मया दीपं गृहाण देवेशं त्रिलोक्यं तिम्लापहम्। ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। व्यासाय व्यासरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वे ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्यो मामृतं गमय। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। करारविन्देन पदारविन्दं मुखारविन्दे वनवेशयन्तं वटस्य पत्रस्य पुटे शयानं बालं मुकुन्दं मर्षास्मरामि। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ध्येयं सदा परिभवग्नमभिष्टदोहं तीर्थास्परं विनुचितं शरण्यं विद्यार्थं प्रणतपालभवाब्धिपूतं वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दं। बोले व्यास भगवान की जय, कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय, राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय, श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय।
जय। सभी लोग खड़े हो जाए, आरती करेंगे। जय 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 भागवत,
जय 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 भागवत,
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती,
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती।
दर्श दिखाने वाला, ये सुख करनी है दुख हरनी, ये सुख करनी है दुख हरनी, श्री मधुसूदन की आरती।
पापियों को पाप से तारती,
भागवत भगवान की आरती। पापियों को पाप से तारती, पापियों को पाप से तारती, पापियों को पाप से तारती। कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। सभी लोग आसन लीजिए। Everyone, please be seated. We clasp our hands and bow our heads as we contemplate the divine, invoking His presence into our minds. Please, बैठिए। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री
सरस्वती नमः।
ओम श्री गुरु चरण कमले नमः। ध्येयं सदा परिभवग्ननभीष्टदोहं, तीर्थास्पदं शिववीरं सिनत्वं शरण्यं। भृत्यातिहं प्रणतपालभवादिपोतं, वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दं, वन्दे महापुरुषते चरणारविन्दं। वंशीविभूषितकरां नवनीरदाभात्, पीताम्बरधरं बिम्बफलादरुष्टात्। पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखारविन्दनेत्रा, कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं, देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये, ततो जयमुदीरये। श्रीकृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय
विष्णुपत्न्यै
तापत्रविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय
वयं नमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः।
जय जय श्री राधारमण, जय जय नवल किशोर, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु जय जय मातन छो जय जय मातन छो कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय बहन जी आ रही बच्चों ले आओ पहले भी बचा रहे हैं अच्छा अच्छा we have a new baby for Krishna Janam tomorrow night. Well, the baby came before Krishna Janam, but we're happy. हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री
हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा
हमारो धन राधा
श्री राधा श्री राधा हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हमारो धन राधा 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 हमारो धन राधा
हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हमारो धन परम धन राधा परम धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा परम धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हो परम धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा परम धन राधा 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 परम धन राधा 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 हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा हमारो धन राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा श्री राधा जय जय श्री राधे
जय श्री राधे
जय जय श्री राधे
जय जय श्री राधे
जय जय श्री राधे
जय जय श्री राधे
कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की
जय
सभी लोग स्वागत Let me take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you here tonight. On behalf of the organizing committee of this yajna, this is our second night, and of course tomorrow night is Krishna Janmashtami. For those of you who were here last night, We, of course, commence our readings from the Srimad Bhagwat Puran, from the third skand, Tishri skand, or the third book, whereby we discuss the subject of yoga. And from the comments I received from some of the devotees who were here last night, I gathered that people were paying attention. That some even went home and read it, listened afterwards to see if they were sure of what they heard. But what we talked about last night was a basic lifestyle. That how we live in the world is a key factor. Our health and well-being, physical and otherwise, are key components to how we relate to God. And our relationship to God is through our activities and our interaction with God's creation, in particular, humanity. And if we do not have a very structured life, a structured approach to life, then we will be lost. Although we exist and we are educated and we may be financially well endowed, good looking, drive the right car, or we may not be educated or not financially well endowed or do not drive the best car, but we still do not have any principles or discipline about lifestyle, then we will also become victims of being neglected by the good things in life. The good things will neglect us. It's not that we don't want the good things, they seem to move away from us. So self-discipline, the discipline of staying healthy, body and mind, and action, all of our actions will be healthy activities. And a healthy activity is one of the greatest challenges in the world today, is how to be quiet. And when I say to be quiet, I don't mean stop talking. Some of us are not talking at all, but we're not quiet. Our minds are working constantly. And in that dialogue in the mind, we're winning battles, we're building castles, we're destroying the world, we're projecting love, we're projecting hate, we're projecting animosity. All of these things are happening. That is not a quiet person. When Bhagwan Krishna says we must main Moonga Vrat, he means to be quiet, mind. The objective is, if you're not talking, that means at least you'll stop talking. But you know, many of us in communication, when someone is talking to us, we're not listening. We are deciding on the response we'll give. To project our ideas, not to listen to what's being told to us. So the challenge that I talked about last night when we say yoga, yoga is self-control. Yoga is discipline of diet. Yoga is discipline of breathing. Yoga is discipline of posture. Yoga is discipline of my mind to make sure I have a quietness in my mind. When I have all of these things, then mandhyanam. Then when I say, Om Shri Ganeshaya Nama, I mean, oh God, help me to focus my mind. Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Before I commence my reading tonight, I'd like to ask for one bhajan. Maybe Ravi can do first one bhajan tonight.
Ravi did one.
We did? Okay. I'm sure Shivi will love to give Ravi to sing tonight. Ravi, sing another bhajan tonight. We don't get to my godson that often, so we need to take advantage of him when he comes. I tested it myself today.
Everything's adjusted.
Only the big knobs should be out. Dhruv, fix the harmonium. Only the big knobs should be out. Only the big knobs.
जय गोविंद गोपाला मन मोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला मनमोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला मनमोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला मनमोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जब पालक तू रास रचैया गोवर्धन गिरधारी कितने नाम तेरे नटवर तू श्यामल कृष्ण मुरारी जब पालक तू रास रचैया गोवर्धन गिरधारी कितने नाम तेरे
श्यामल कृष्ण मुरारी
मोर मुकुट मनहर लेवत बलिहारी हर ब्रजवाला मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला मनमोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
तू ही सागर में रमता तू ही धरती पाता जल में नग में और जगत में तेरे जय जयकार तू ही सागर में
रमता तू ही धरती पाता जल में और जगत में तेरे जय जयकार
मेरे मन मंदिर में स्वामी तुझसे है उजियारा मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला
जिसका कोई नहीं इस जग में उसका मीत कन्हैया बंसी बजैया रास रचैया काली नागन छैया
जिसका कोई नहीं जग में उसका मीत कन्हैया
बंसी बजैया
रास रचैया काली नागन छैया
राजा हो या दीन अधिकारी सबका तू रखवाला मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
जय गोविंद गोपाला मनमोहन श्याम कन्हैया मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
मुरलीधर गोपाला घनश्याम नंद के लाला
Tonight, we continue to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where Bhagavan Krishna continues to explain to the world about how to worship the Lord. And the term bhakti is very commonly known. Bhakti translated in English means devotion. Everyone has devotion. We're all bhaktas. We all pray to God. We all recognize that there's a God. But tonight, we shall hear from Bhagavan Krishna himself of how, although we are devoted to God, that there are different streams of devotion. And it comes in three categories. These three categories are very common in human nature. We're all guilty of having these three natural states that we are called, that we do things in a state of tamas, rajas, and sattva. That we are doing the action, but our state of mind is one of these three. And Bhagavan Krishna explains to the world about yoga. Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhakti Yogo Bahubido Mangor Bhamini Bhayate Swabhava Guna Margane Pumsam Bhavo Vividyate Shri Krishnaya
Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Bhakti Yoga Bahuvidha. He says the pathway of yoga have many forms. And these devotional service are based on the nature of the individual. We all come to Mandir and we all bring prasad and we all offer it. But only we know our state of mind when we make the offering. The prasad that we offer, all of us will bring apples and bananas, and equally we have apples and bananas. All of us would have offered apples and bananas to Bhagavan, but not all of us are on the same page in our state of mind. And the differentiation Bhagavan is saying that, oh dear devotee, listen carefully. I shall tell you the three states that we can exist while we consider ourselves to be in the process of bhakti. Abhisandhyaya yohamsam dhabhyam matsargaveva sambhiminanda bhavam mai kuryasat tamasa. Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya. A person who is envious, proud, violent, angry. A person who is envious, proud, violent, angry, they also pray to God. They also bring prasad and offer to Bhagavan. But their nature is proud, pride, false pride, anger. They're violent in nature. He says their offerings are guided by their state of mind, their nature, not the fruit itself. The apple tasted by everyone will taste the same way. The same apple bought from the same store, offered by two different devotees. One will have a different offering and the other will be different. Not that the apples are different. The fruits of life are not different. The people who receive and give them are the ones who are different. And their states of mind determines how the fruit is received, how the fruit is given, not the taste of the fruit. The taste of the fruit is totally out of their control. I can never give you a bitter fruit. I can only give you the fruit, and the fruit with its potentiality, hopefully that is a sweet fruit. But if you taste it and you say it's bitter, and the same fruit I've eaten and says it tastes very good, then it's your taste buds. It tasted bitter and mine tasting sweet. But the fruit Didn't change when I bit it and then you bit. No, no, no. The fruit is still the same. Bhagavan Krishna is saying that there are all over the world, everyone is a devotee, everyone is a bhakta. But what kind of bhaktas are we? Are we this type? And he says, tamasa. He says, this type of bhakta, the one who makes offerings to him in a state of envy, pride, and they have a nature of violent, angry nature. He says, who are separatists, who says, well, by the way, my God is greater than your God. My God is better than your God. My devotion is better than your devotion. He says, these people are praying to me. They are bhaktas also. But they are the tamasic type of bhaktas. He goes on to explain. Visayana visandhyaya yasa visavyam evavam arkadhav archaveyo mam artabhava sarajasa Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. He says, then there are those who are separatists in nature, who believe that they are unique in this world, and they worship God, but with a motive. I pray to God because I want this. I pray to God because I have this desire to be fulfilled. I pray to God because I have a need that needs to be taken care of, or a want that needs to be satisfied. He says, these who are seeking God's blessings or contemplating God to receive a gift from God, he says, they who are seeking fame and opulence in this world, this type of devotion is called Rajasic devotion. Rajasic, egotistical type of devotion. Now, everyone comes, everyone prays at home, everyone comes to Mandir and pray, we go to holy places and pray. But what is in our minds when we pray to God? What is the state of our minds? We shall discuss this totally at the end when he presents us the third type. Karma nirharam mudisya parasmin va tad aparanam yajedyatvam iti va vartabhava sasatvika Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Bhagavan Vach, the Lord says that that individual who worships God and offers the results of their activities in order to free themselves, to become unshackled, to become detached, to become tyagis or vairagis, that is, to do and not to be attached to the fruits of our doings. He says, to that person, to that individual, man or woman, child, age, or whatever status they're in, he says, their devotion is a supreme devotion and a devotion of sattvic devotion. All of us, as I mentioned earlier, we all pray to God. I am also a devotee of Bhagavan. But what is the state of my mind when I pray to God? What is the state of your mind when you pray to God? Are we praying to God genuinely saying, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvang Mama Deva Deva? Are we really saying that? And if we are saying it, do we believe it? Do we believe that God, Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva, you're my mother and you're my father, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my friend, you're Mama Deva Deva? Do we believe this? Or are we just giving lip service to God. Then one will ask, if we believe this, how do we project it in the world? Do we see our mother and fathers divine? Do we bow to them with that love? Like we've come to bow to the murtis, we bow and we take darshan from their feet. Do we see our parents like that? Because that is what that pratna is saying. Tumeya mata cha pita tumeya bandhu cha sakha tumeya. And all of my friends, relatives are all of that nature. Another Krishna. And this is the blue boy Krishna. Krishna was a little mischievous. Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Nama Boro Shri Krishnaya
Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Tonight we will digress to another text that talks about Bhakti Yoga, and that is Srimad Bhagwat Gita. For in this book, Bhagwat, there the Bhagavad is an extract of the Bhagavatam. 18 chapters of dialogue between God and man. And Bhagavan Krishna speaks to Arjuna. So in chapter 12, the entire chapter is dedicated to bhakti, devotion. And here, as we've enumerated and mentioned earlier, there are 3 types of devotees, 3 modes of devotion. But Bhagavan Krishna says, out of the 3 modes of devotion, there are 4 types of devotees. Out of the 3 modes, there are 4 types. And all of you are very familiar with this shloka in this mandir anyway. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jigyasu artarthi jnani cha bharat shava. Bhagavan says, Chaturvida bhajante mam. 4 type of people pray to me. And as I've known to mention that it doesn't mean Brahmin, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra. It doesn't mean black people, white people, brown people, and yellow people. It means that all of the people of the world, all of them, man or women, fall in one of 4 categories. And the categories are defined by the way we relate to God. The way we relate to God, he says there is the Artho relationship, Jigyasu relationship, Artharthi relationship, and Jnani relationship. We can relate to anyone, any person or God in these 4 ways. Think carefully. We all have relationships. Let's think of the friend relationship. We have a friend relationship because the friend has a lot of connections. And when we need anything, we just call them. So that's, if the friend loses the connection, we lose the friend. That is called the Artho relationship. Getting what I want out of the relationship. So if God gives me what I want, we're doing good. And he says, that's one type of devotee. Just think carefully of this as I'm going through this. Identify yourself, but don't put your hands up as to what type of devotee you are. Then he says the second type of devotee is Jigyasu. These people only contemplate God when there is a major event happening in their lives. Like when they're about to go for a surgery at the hospital, or for an immigration interview, or a job interview, or write an exam. They're very sincere at that time. And they pray to God very sincerely. And Bhagavan responds to their prayers. He says that is Jigyasu. I see some people are smiling. Then there is the Artharthi group. He said these people, they are always calling God's name. Oh God, Bhagavan, Bhagavan, hey Bhagavan. It's hey Bhagavan, oh Bhagavan, how Bhagavan, you Bhagavan. Everything but Bhagavan. But every time they call Bhagavan is, why are you not doing it? Why didn't you do it? How are you not doing it on time? Where are you when I need you? And he says, that's the 3rd category. So now we have the first, the second, the third. There's a 4th category. The 4th category is a Jnani. And the Jnani repeats this prayer that we just chanted. And let's do this together. Everybody sing it. We know this prayer, right? Tvameva mata sya pita tvameva bandhu sya sakha tvameva vidya द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव
सर्वं मम देव देव.
Bhagavan Krishna says that the Jnani looks at the world and looks at all the challenges and makes this prayer every day. Sirf ek prashan, and they have one question for Bhagavan. Bhagavan, if you're my mother, you're my father, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my friend, you're Mama Deva Deva. Bhagavan ji, sirf ek prashan hai. How come I don't know you? How come I don't know you, Lord? And someone will say, well, what do you mean you don't know? Do you know God? How many of us know our brother and sister very well? We know that they are our brother and sister. We have the same bloodline. Do we know their nature? Do we know how they think and how they act? Yes. If we spend a lot of time with them, we will gradually know, but we do not know. But then the true devotee, the one who is the Jnani, is asking God, that God, if all of these things you are, then I should know you. And there's a strong message sent to the people, all of us as family members. Do we know our mother and father? Do we see them as God? Do we see the divinity in them? Do we know our brothers and sisters? Do we see the goodness in them? Do we see the goodness in our friends, or we only see which is not good? That is the other aspect to analyze this prayer, this pratna. That when the Jnani asks, God, how comes you're all of these things to me and I don't know you? It means that I really don't see these things around me. Because if I see these things, I will know God. If I see Bhagavan in my mother and father, brother, sister, I know God. He's here, there, and everywhere. What else do I need to know? Bhagavan Krishna is telling us in this Bhagavatam that although we have these 4 types of people, there are 3 governing factors. And the governing factors are called our gunas. Tamogun, Rajogun, or Satogun. These are tendencies within us. Every human being have tamasic tendencies. Every human being have rajasic tendencies. That is the id, the animalistic qualities, and the ego qualities. And every human being have sattvic and super ego qualities. It comes with a package. But the objective is how do we elevate ourselves from tamas, via rajas, and into sattva. Bhagavan Krishna tells us in chapter 12 of Bhakti Yoga, he says there is a way for everyone to do this. Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Nama Bolo Shri
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah.
How does the Lord make us understand this status that we're in, and how do we overcome this status? He starts off by challenging us and explaining a very important factor in how we relate to God. In the opening verses of chapter 12, Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Govindaya Namo Namah.
From the mouth of Arjun comes this question, Evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasite Esham ke yoga vitamaha Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Murti Puja. We all have beautiful murtis. If you go to every mandir, you will see murtis. All of them of different dimensions, different appearances, different garments. And we all are devotees of Bhagavan. And let us take Krishna for instance today. We glorify Bhagavan Krishna. And we have a beautiful murti of Krishna and Radha in this mandir. And every mandir has a beautiful murti of Bhagavan Krishna and Radha. But Arjuna is saying, my Lord, you've told me that you're omnipotent and omnipresent, and that I can worship you with no form and form. Bhagwan, I'm a little confused. Tell me, if I have a form or I don't have a form, which is the better way to worship you? With a form, with a murti, or no murti? This question has been asked since the beginning of time. We have different philosophies and different traditions based upon no murtis and murtis. Bhagavan Krishna listened to Arjuna and answered the question in this way. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Mayaveshamano yemam
नित्ययुक्ता उपासते
Shraddhaya pariyopesta
देवे युक्तता
Mataha Shri Krishnaya
वासुदेवाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
ये दो शब्द है भक्ति और we have the word bhakti which means devotion and then we have faith, shraddha. Bhakti or shraddha, devotion and faith. Everybody has devotion. We're all devotees. We are all tamasic or rajasic or sattvic or chaturvida. We are of the four groupings. But how many of us have faith? How many of us unquestionable belief in God? Bhagavan Krishna is saying to Arjuna that whether you have a murti, if you are praying to me through the medium of a murti or no murti, that is not what's going to make you stay connected to me. What will make you stay connected to me is your shraddha, your faith. In me, not the murti, or not the form or the other form. Now, if I have faith in my mother and father, am I having faith in their physical being? Or am I having faith in their love for me, their caring for me, their compassion for me? Their bodies will wither away, they will go away, but my faith in my mother and father will be there when they are not here. Similarly, our relationship to Bhagavan is not on the physical, but the Lord goes on to explain why the physical. He goes on to tell us that if you have faith, then there are many other ways that you can show this faith. And this faith, when you project it, it is also what is called bhakti or devotion. Change style. Ye tvaksharam nirvesham avyaktam parupasate sarvatajam chintyam cha kutasam achalam dhruvam sanniyanye indriya gramam sarvatra samabhuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta ite rata Shri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah Bolo Shri
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः
The Bhagavan says, look, let me tell you, there are many ways to project this faith. Not only by going to Mandir and doing puja or doing puja in our homes. Prayers doesn't necessarily mean you have faith. Prayers does not necessarily, knowing to chant a prayer doesn't mean you believe in the prayer. Just like I mentioned, Tvameva Mata, Chapita, Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu, we all say it. Do we believe it? Do we live it? If we believe and live it, then that prayer represents faith. But if you just lip service it, you tell your boss, by the way, you're the greatest boss, you're the best boss, you're the best boss in the world, give me a raise. After he gives you the raise, with boss. Don't know about him. So words are plentiful. When people are getting married, I tend to say to them, I said, by the way, today, you're making all these commitments. You've told this boy, you've told this girl's parents you love this girl. You've told this girl that you will marry her. This girl, you told the parents that you love this boy. You told him that you'll marry, and you all agree, and lots of words are said, and then you sign a legal document, all words, but none of those words mean anything if you don't live up to the values of those words. That is why in the puja that we do in wedding ceremony, there is Gauri Ganesh Puja. We ask Bhagwan Ganesh to bless the bride and groom, that all their faculties are intact, that they have the ability to see, smell, taste, touch, and to comprehend all things at an even state, at a positive state. And then we ask Ma Shakti to bless them with the strength of mind, have the courage in the mind to live up to the moral commitments they make during marriage ceremonies. So Bhagwan Krishna is telling Arjuna, that, "Oh Arjuna, look, there are many ways to project his faith. A husband and wife faith in each other, believe and trust in each other is a form of devotion to Bhagwan. Because you know why? They are Lakshmi and Vishnu. That's who they are when they are married. And they never stop being Lakshmi and Vishnu in the eyes of God until they decided not to be. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya. Bhagwan Krishna says, Arjuna, there are many ways you can show your faith in me. He says, who fully controlling all those senses? What did we talk about last night? Controlling the sense, breathing, controlling the mind, and even minded towards all. Devoted to the welfare of all beings, very important factor. Devoted to the welfare of all beings, meaning that we are very willing to help those who are in need. Not only our mother and father and brother and sister, but anyone who is in need. Devoted to the welfare of all beings, constantly adoring and glorifying God. While they are doing all of these things, in their activities, when they do something, when they give something to someone, they say, Krishna Arpanam, thank you God, I was privileged. When they receive something, Krishna Arpanam, it is all done in the name of God. Not in my name. Remember, I did this for you. Just remember, I gave this to you. Just remember, this is my house. This is my car. And this is my job. No. And then also we said, this is my life. Now that's the real one. It's a challenge. Is this my life? This is my arm. This is my shirt. This is my hair and my head and my eyes. Who am I? I am laying claim to all of these things. So then I am not these things. I am something else than these things. And it's my life. No, it's mine. God gave it to you. It's a gift. He can take it away anytime. But you can make it. You give a child a beautiful gift and they can damage it and tarnish it up. But the mother and father gave the gift with good intention. Bhagwan gave us his life with good intention. And if we tarnish it and demolish it and destroy it, then we're not respecting the gift that was given to us. Even when we declare, this is my life. I should write a new sermon on that. The one that, this is my life. What does that mean? Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. He goes on to declare to the world, Kleshto adiktarastesham avyakta sakti chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukam dehavad virya vapyate Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Govindaya Namo Namah.
So now the Lord gets back to more direct questions. He says, Arjun, you ask me, if I have a murti and I don't have a murti, which is the better pathway? Now, Bhagwan Krishna is like a politician to some degree. Here he's not playing politics, but he's trying to understand the nature of the mind of the person asking the question and make sure they don't misunderstand the answer. Because many of us ask a question and it doesn't matter what is being said, we are going to say this is what that means. I could say one thing to you and you say, so this is what you meant. And I'm saying, no, that's not what I mean. You wanted to mean that. And you were going to say, Pandit Sharma said that. But no. That's what you interpreted of what he said. Bhagwan Krishna is making sure that Arjuna does not misinterpret his statement. So we tell him, first of all, Arjun, the question of your relationship to me has nothing to do with the murti, or if you have no murti, it has everything to do with fate. But on the other hand, since you asked the question about murti and no murti, let me tell you the value of the murti. He says, you and I, as human beings, have a tendency to relate to things that we can see, touch, taste, feel, experience. If I was to say to all of you that I have in my hands an object, I want you to tell me what it is. Can anybody tell me what I have in my hands? No, because you're not here, you can't see. Now I'll tell you, it's round. It's cylindrical. It is soft. Do you know what it is? Sometimes I use it to tape up packages. What do I have in my hands? Anybody got to come close to guessing what it is? Scotch tape. Now you could imagine everything else. But now that I showed you the Scotch tape roll, when I say Scotch tape, what are you seeing? This roll. But before I had shown you this Scotch tape and told you what it is, if I say Scotch tape, you mean somebody from Scotland? It would mean nothing to you because you didn't know what I was talking about. So the Murti of Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram represents God. When I say Krishna, I relate to that Murti and I'm relating to what it represents to me. But when I'm going on holidays and I leave Toronto and I go to the Bahamas and I'm there for a week, I don't take my Murti with me in the suitcase. But I still want to pray in the morning when I'm there. And you know when I wake up and I say, Jai Shri Krishna, I'm seeing the Murti I left home. So the Murti becomes embedded in the mind. Similarly, when our loved ones depart from this world, they're not here. We say, Ma, and they're there. We see them because if we have never seen our mother, never had a vision or a picture of our mother, and everyone says, you have a mother, and they never told you, when you say Ma, there's a blank. But when you have seen a picture of only one glimpse of your mother, the minute you mention Ma, she's there. That is the power of the Murti. Ultimately, the true devotee will reach a stage whereby Mandhyanam, when they close their eyes and sit in front of the Murti Hridaya mein. Mandir, Mandir, Mandir. Mandir is where the Lord is. Our mind is where the Lord is. Krishna Kandaya Lal Ki. That doesn't mean you must give up all your Murtis. Show your children. Stay and maintain that close relationships. You know, some people love each other and they're far apart from each other for years and they still maintain love. Some people are together with each other and they can't stand each other for days. Yet, there is this thing called love. As such, it is within our minds. The human nature in our minds is our greatest challenge. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. On the other hand, Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, Ye tu sarvani karmani
मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः अनन्येनैव योगेन ध्यायन्त उपासते
Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः.
On the other hand, the Lord says, here is another type of devotee of mine. He said the one who depends on me exclusively. Do we depend upon God exclusively? Can we do that? The fact of the matter is, if we wake up in the morning and there was no oxygen in the air, what can we do? We depend upon God exclusively. There's no question about that. But do we know that? Are we thankful for that? Swasa swasa Prabhu ka naam swarang. With every breath we must say, thank you God, thank you. Because without that we cannot exist. And he says that individual who truly believed that God is the source of their existence, he says if they believe that genuinely and practice self-control, seeing all equal, have the best interest of all concerned, he says they too are my devotee. They may not have a murti. They may not have read a scripture in their life, but they live this life. Now someone will say, Panditji, if this is true, why do we have these mandirs? Why do we have all these murtis? Why do we have all of these books? By the way, you know that every child can learn at home. If their parents are wise enough to teach them, they don't have to go to school. They can get a book and read it, but they go to school because it's a process. Mandir is here as an extension of what we have at home. No mandir should replace the home. The home is where Sadhu Samaj live. Sadhu Samaj means learned people. Where Sadhu Samaj exists, that is Prayagraj. the most holy place is our home. This mandir is holy, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have holiness in our home. When we step out of our home and come to mandir, it's because we are extension of that holiness into a place of congregational gathering. Now we say we come to mandir for darshan and shiksha. It doesn't mean we cannot get darshan, shiksha and darshan at home. Parents can give shiksha to children and they can get darshan from the murti at home. The same, but we feel that difference of being in a different environment. Like when we can get water, food and clothing when we are home, but we go to Bahamas to get water, food and clothing. Because the air there is better and the food is better. No, same food you can get anywhere in Toronto. But we want to change the venue, and the change of venue gives us a different frame of mind. Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Our Katha tonight was intended to present to us the other half of yoga. We talked about the Karma Yoga yesterday, and today Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga meaning living through activities. And then Bhakti Yoga, living through activities with a devotion in those activities. And then understanding that all of us are different Bhakti Yogis or different Karma Yogis. We all are devotees. But if we were to measure our devotion to God on a scale of 1 to 10, how would we be rated? Let's give you this example. If Bhagwan was to have a great reception, where he wanted to invite all of his close friends, all the people who are loving him, and he said on a scale of 1 to 10, I want everybody to sign up to attend based on their rating of themselves. Rate yourself on 1 to 10. If you rate more than 6, then sign up to come. If you rate less than 6, don't sign up. What would you rate yourself? Don't answer for me. How is your devotion to God? Is it tamasic? Is it you're asking God? You're demanding from God? Accusing God? Blaming God? Or are you saying, I'm the best devotee? I can show you how to do puja. I'll do a bigger yag than you. I will show you how I'll get a better murti than you. No. He says, we must rate ourselves on those tendencies and to thine own self be truthful. Don't let anyone or compare ourselves to anyone. I'm a better devotee than you because you don't do this and I do this. No. I'm only a devotee if I know who I am. And within myself, I have that bhakti, that jnana, that vairagya, that knowledge that God is within me equally in everyone else. And as much as I love God, He loves me and everyone else the same way. We cannot tell God, by the way, I want you to love me alone. Don't love the next door neighbor. Because, no. God says, hold on a minute. My love is mine and I give it freely to who I want to give it to. Don't tell me who to give it to. Some of us try to do that. Some of us said, God belongs to me alone. We take total ownership of God. That this is the only way. God says, hold on a minute. Are you going to dictate who I am? No, I know who I am. So in Bhakti Yoga, we must be very conscious of our nature. For our nature determines our relationship, not only to God, but to humanity. But be careful and know it for a fact that our relationship to humanity is reflected upon our relationship to God. We cannot say we don't like human beings and we love God. It doesn't work. We love God through loving humanity. And our relationship to humanity is a reflection of our relationship to God. Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Dhanyavad. Thank you all for being here tonight. And it is now 8:30 and was as announced in our invitation. We are concluding at 8:30 and RT to follow. Everyone is invited for Priti Bhojan and we hope that you will stay. We'll have one bhajan and then we'll be concluding. And now we'll be hearing from the Kirtan Mandali. Finishing on time? We'll have two bhajans from the Kirtan Mandali because we have time. Everyone, please. If anyone has brought prasad to offer, please bring your prasad for Sankalp. If you brought prasad to offer to Hanumanji today, please do come. First, we'll have a Hanuman bhajan. And please join me in that. मंगल मूर्ति राम दुलारे, आन परायव तेरे द्वारे। मंगल हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर करो कल्याण। तीनों लोक तेरा उजियारा, दुखियों का तूने काज सवारा। हे जगवंदन केसरी नंदन, कष्ट हरो है कृपा निदान। मंगल मूर्ति राम दुलारे, आन परायव तेरे। हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर तेरे द्वारे जो भी आया, काल नहीं कोई लौटाया। दुर्गम काज बनावन दुर्गम काज बनावन मंगल में दीजो वरदान। मंगल मूर्ति राम दुलारे, आन परायव तेरे द्वारे। हे बजरंग बली हनुमान, हे महावीर तेरा सुमिरन, 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 तेरा सुमिरन हनुमत बीरा, final bhajan offered by Shivana, Krishna bhajan.
जय माधव मदन मुरारी, जय माधव मदन मुरारी, जय माधव मदन मुरारी, जय माधव मदन मुरारी, जय केशव
Radhe Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. If anyone has brought prasad to offer that was not offered, you can do prasad sankalp. Nahi? Let me take this opportunity to thank all of you for joining us tonight. Tomorrow night will be a conclusion of our yajna, and it is Krishna Janmashtami. Krishna Janmashtami will be celebrated at 12 at midnight. Ram Janam is celebrated 12 in the day. And people will be coming. The Mandir is open from 7:30 in the morning. You're welcome to come at any time and worship. There's a special programming starting from 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. It will go until approximately 12:30 or 1, because Janam Puja will be at 12. And we look forward to seeing all of you. Please come with an open mind, a heart of welcoming the Lord, a renewal, a renaissance of bringing back God into our lives. Not that God is not in our lives. And as I mentioned, we are all devotees. Just remember, we need to know which category we belong to, and how we need to move up the next 2 layers, or the first 3 layers, or maybe we're already there. But remember, there are different layers. Like in everything else, our devotion has different layers. Come tomorrow night to start from the beginning. Welcome Bhagwan Krishna into our lives as a baby. Love him as a child, and then respect him as a human being. And see within him the divinity in all the simplicity of life. It is said, when you look at a child, innocence is bliss. Meaning, in their innocence, they are blissful. Only if grown-ups could stay as childs with the wisdom as they grow older, then the world will be filled more wisdom and less anxiety and anger and greed, and lust and pride. Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Sabhi log khade ho jaye. There are at least 8 thalis, 10 thalis be prepared. 9 thalis are ready for Aarti. Please, everyone come. Bhagwat Bhagwan ki Aarti. Go up, scale up, scale up. Jai, 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 Bhagwatam. Jai Bhagwat Bhagwan ki Aarti.
भागवत भगवान की है
आरती पापियों को पाप से तारती
मधुर बोल जग बंद खोल संग मार्ग दिखाई वाला बिगड़ी तो बनाने वाला ये मधुर बोल जग बंद खोल संग मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी तो बनाने वाला श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही जग की आरती
पापियों को पाप से तारती
जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती
पापियों को
पाप से तारती पापियों को पाप से तारती जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पाप से तारती पापियों को पाप से तारती जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम जय 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 भागवतम कृष्ण कन्हैयालाल की जय. Tonight we want to thank our two sisters, Pulmati and Tara Kanji, for sponsoring tonight's Preeti Bhojan. Let's give them a big hand, please. मन ध्यान करो हाथ जोड़कर भगवान का प्रार्थना. We offer our concluding prayers to भगवान. We must clasp our hands. बच्चों देखो हाथ जोड़कर in front as we pray. Om Hari Om Hari Om
शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं कल्पसन्देशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिविद्यारम्यं वन्दे विष्णु सर्वलोके
Om Dho Shanti Antarikshagum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapa Shanti Vrushadaya Shanti Vanaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti
ब्रह्मा
शीश झुकाकर धरती पर प्रणाम, we bow our heads. ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परम ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. आसतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा
ज्योतिर्गमय
मृत्योर्मा
अमृतं गमय.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्.
बोलिए सियापति रामचंद्र भगवान
की जय,
पवन पुत्र हनुमान
की जय,
राधा कृष्ण भगवान
की जय,
गणपति भगवान
की जय,
लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान
की जय,
सरस्वती माता की
जय,
शंकर भगवान
की जय,
जगदम्बे मैया की
जय,
बोलिए सब संतन की
जय,
सतगुरुदेव महाराज
की जय,
अपने अपने माता पिता
की जय,
धर्म की जय हो, अधर्म का नाश हो, प्राणियों में
सद्भावना हो,
विश्व का
कल्याण हो,
धरती माता की
जय हो,
भारत माता की
जय हो. ओम नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव हर हर महादेव. श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय.
बोलिए व्यास जी महाराज की
जय.
श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की
जय.
कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय. सभी लोग पूज्य महाराज जी से प्रसाद लेकर जाएं.
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय
गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय
राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय
राधा रमण हरि
गोविंद जय जय राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा
रमण हरि गोविंद
जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय वर्ष को